Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Woman Entrepreneur Global Summit. My name is Heather Picken, and I'm so excited to bring to you some of the most amazing women entrepreneurs. These are 6 and 7 business owners, and they're fired up. They're fired and they're inspired to really share their story, how they broke through to the level of success that they're at today, and of course giving you strategy. So the story is important because we all connect with the story. I believe behind every successful woman entrepreneur there is a story, and I really have made it my mission and purpose to help those women entrepreneurs just like you that are maybe scratching your head going, how do I solve this mystery? How do I solve this puzzle? I am sick of struggling. I really want a step-by-step plan to help me to launch my business or take it to the next level. So I am all about helping you to build your business to $10,000 a month or more, and I've brought those experts together to help you to do exactly that. So if you found this summit to be helpful, what I would love for you to do is go onto Twitter and hashtag WOFE, that stands for Woman on Fire Entrepreneur, and you can also send them to the registration page, and that can be found at heatherpicken.com/on fire, because we're all about being on fire. And so my next woman entrepreneur that is on fire, her name is Katrina Sawa, and she is known as the Jumpstart Your Business Coach, or I should say Biz Coach, love it, short and sweet, because she literally kicks her clients and their businesses into high gear. This woman is serious. She works with highly motivated entrepreneurs that want to maximize and fast track their business to make more money and enjoy more free time. So who doesn't want that? She also uses online and offline relationship marketing systems and strategies to leverage your resources, contacts, and your expertise. Plus, she kicks you in the butt to implement it too. So that's most important. You know who you are. You need a kick in the butt. So she also, consistent networking and follow-up is really the key. She talks about it for being successful, her own success. And over the past 13 years, she has a proven track record. And she really knows how to leverage her business, and that's what she teaches entrepreneurs how to do the same. So she enjoys inspiring and motivating and educating other entrepreneurs how to design a business to fit your life, which really frees you up to do the things that you love. She constantly tells entrepreneurs that she meets the fastest way to build a successful business is to automate, delegate, systematize, build your list, and talk to your list regularly in order to be at the top, top of the mind at all times, which I totally agree. She is also a best-selling author, speaker, award-winning coach. She speaks all over the country in person. Plus, she's been featured on the Law of Attraction radio show, on the Oprah and Friends XM network, ABC, and the CW. So I want you to get your piece of paper out, or maybe you've got your smartphone taking notes. She's got some great gifts to give away here. So I want you to go to jumpstartyourmarketing.com/free gifts. So that's jumpstartyourmarketing.com/free gifts. And there's going to be a link below so you can click on that, you know, if you don't want to write it down. And today I'm excited because she's going to be talking about just that, putting your business and marketing on autopilot so you can watch your profits grow. So Katrina, thank you so much for being my guest today.
You're welcome. Thanks, Heather, for having me. I'm on fire, definitely. Let's get everybody else on fire.
Awesome, awesome. And I love in the background that you've got one of your books, and I can see like a little heart, and it's such a great environment to be on fire. And I know that you've got an amazing story, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on as a guest, because I believe we have stories to tell, and your story is so impactful in helping women. So if you could just go back in your life, and I always say I probably wanted to quit more times than anyone that I know. I don't know, maybe you've got one up on me, but there are so many challenges being a business owner, being even a woman entrepreneur. We get really emotional. So can you kind of take us back to the moment where you were really struggling in your business. So what was that point, and what was that breaking point? Like, what were you thinking and what were you doing? Like, how did you get that help?
The breaking point for me was I'm really good about the doing and learning what to do and how to market myself and what to put in place and how to structure things and what to say and what to send and all the things you need to do in your business. But about 6 years into my business, I was struggling to get to that 6 figures, and I had a coach and a mastermind program that year all about mindset and money, and I thought, oh, they're going to teach me how to make more money. Great. And so I'm like, what do I need to do to make more money, get 6 figures and beyond? And all they wanted to do was tell me to be love, be love. That's all you need to do, be love. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, come on, please. I can't just be love. Tell me what to do in the marketing, the website, the whatever. And I was very against their advice, and I struggled with it all year long and cried myself in the meetings all the time, but the end of the year is so funny. I made 6 figures and I didn't do anything different in my business. I was already doing a lot of the right things. I just needed to be different. And so all that forcing me to be different, and then having that on top of mind when I would go to events or conferences or speak in front of a group or do a teleclass, I would just be differently. And for me, it was the love that I needed to be, and that's where my whole world changed, the way I was running the business, because it was all about jumpstart your marketing before and jumpstart your business and let's do the business stuff. And that year was the pivotal year where I learned about how to transform myself and really figure out what I wanted for myself, because I was settling in my personal life too. So
oh my gosh. I really want to talk about that, because here's the thing. We've got something in common. I don't know about you, but my biggest lessons in life have been through men and relationships. And my business was going down the tubes by getting into bad relationships. So tell us a little bit about that and how it's affected your business.
Yeah, I talk a lot about love now, and so my whole thing is putting more love in your life and money in your business, because what I learned about myself and a lot of my clients who were coming to me because they were like attracts like, right? So I was getting all these women who were unhappy in their marriage or single and couldn't find the right man and were not confident about themselves, and I had gone through the same thing, and so I started really working with that on myself, but also with clients. But my story is I was in a marriage for 8.5 years, and I started my business when I was in the marriage, and I thought he was kind of like me, an entrepreneur, risk taker, because we met doing outside sales, but oh no, he was not. And so he was definitely the employee mindset, and I was the entrepreneur mindset. And when I discovered that about myself and really started listening to new speakers and going places and workshops and wanting to spend $3,000 for this and $12,000 for that, he was like, you haven't even, so he was one of those husbands that was not supportive of what I was doing. And it was just horrible, and we just really grew apart, and I was in it 2 years too long. I cried myself to sleep every night. I'd go out networking and put a big smile on. Oh, everything's great. And then I'd go home and cry myself to sleep. Not fun, right? So I realized, regardless of me being in my own and having my own business and having to make my own money, still pretty new in my business, I had to leave the marriage. I had to leave the 2-income household, right, and go out on my own and figure it out. And I don't do anything small. I always do it big. And so we owned a house, and I still had to pay the mortgage until we sold it and did the divorce and all that. But I went and bought another house. I don't know how I was going to pay for it. I just trusted it was all going to work itself out, right? And
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, take us to that moment, because I think women are watching this. They're going through similar things. They might be a single mom, or they might be going through a relationship, and they know it's dramatically impacting their business. So what's the thought process? Because I know a lot of women are struggling with this. They realize that either investing themselves, going to the next level is important, yet they're allowing their story to keep them small and stuck. So what was the mindset piece for you? What did you tell yourself to create that leap to go get that house?
It's all going to work itself out in the end. This is what I'm meant to be doing. And it's funny because a year previous to that, or before I realized, I was writing a chapter in a book called It'll All Work Itself Out in the End. I didn't think anything of it at the
Wow.
time. That's what I was, and then I looked back 3 years later and go, oh my God, I totally believed in myself, like beyond most people's beliefs. And I have that innate belief in myself and confidence that it'll all work out. Now, was I always making lots of money? Heck no. Sometimes, some months I was crying on my office floor going, which bill don't I pay? Because I don't have enough money to pay them all. So I've been there, and it's not fun. And,
No, it's
it's
not.
you still have some cash flow issues no matter where you are in your business. The more you make, the more cash flow issues you've got sometimes. So it's not always perfect, and I don't think it's ever going to be perfect, but is it now more comfortable? Yes. Am I now in a fabulous love relationship? Yes. But I've done a lot of work to get there on myself. And I realized when I went into the dating world as the A-type personality, masculine energy person, that wasn't going to work and get me the kind of guy I wanted, because I wanted a real touchy-feely kind of guy, and that didn't attract that. And so I went through a lot of the wrong things in dating. And now I've got systems for dating. I've got a whole program on online dating system for women over 40 because, anyways, I'm all about systems. And so I do it in my business and I do it in my love life because it's about making sure you know exactly what you want in a relationship, for sure. Like, if we're talking relationships, you got to know what you want. And a lot of times I thought I knew what I wanted, but until I went through some different exercises with relationship needs exercises and things like that I explain sometimes in my book and other places, but until I did those exercises, I did not know what I wanted, and I was not putting myself out there in a way to attract the right guy. And so when I finally learned and I invested like $10,000 in my dating life. Okay, 1 year I didn't even hire a business coach. I hired a matchmaker because I wanted to find the man, right? And so I go all in no matter what it is I'm doing.
I love it, and it shows in going back to. I just love this interview. Like going back to the mindset, and because so many women are going through this. So let's just say they invest in something, and then they say, well, I want to see how this works. I'm not going to keep going, even though they know they need to keep continuing to invest in themselves to get to the next level. What would you tell them? Because I know you've gone through this.
I have. I've hired many, many mentors and masterminds and workshops. I've spent a couple $100,000 in the last 13 years, honestly, on my professional business and also my personal life. So because I don't have all the answers. Now, for many years, I was a big control freak, and I thought I did have the answers, and I tried to, push people's advice away. And then I finally embraced it and said, oh my God, it's so much faster, first of all, like if someone just tells you what to do. And so that's the first thing. But it's just embracing what else is possible too, and what can I create for myself, and knowing that it can be there, and you got to stop settling. You got to stop settling for clients who are going to treat you like crap or not pay you what you're worth.
Amen.
High five. And stop settling for men or women or whoever in your life, even toxic people in our lives, such as sisters, brothers, best friends. They sometimes will say stuff to you, and I have a ton of clients that have this happen where they're like, are you sure you should do your own business? Are you sure you don't want to go back and get another job? Like, you're not making any money. When's it going to turn around? You've already invested X number of dollars. When's it going to see the return? You can't invest anymore until you make the money back from this thing. I mean, I've heard it over and over and over and over and over and over from clients, and it's just sad. It breaks my heart to hear that. And you literally, as an entrepreneur, have to put a bubble around yourself to hold your energy, or you're just going to be squashed, and you're not going to have the motivation to go do what it is you need to do in your marketing or your business or online or offline, whatever it is.
It's so true, and I love that you're saying that. You cannot stop. You cannot listen to toxic people. I always say, especially if you're in a relationship, if they are not supporting you 100%, you really have to ask yourself, is this relationship for me? Is it supporting my highest values? So I love this conversation, Katrina. Oh my gosh, you're just so amazing and so inspiring for so many women out there. And the journey, like everything you went through, has served a purpose. Now let's kind of switch gears here, because I could talk about this all day with you, because I feel we have similar stories and women can relate. But let's talk about that automation process and why that's what it is first, and why that's important, and give us some tips and strategies on how we can go about and do that so we can, really grow our businesses.
So I'm really passionate about having entrepreneurs put systems in place in their business, and I'll tell you why it's become even more important to me in the last couple of years is because I've had a lot of health issues. Okay, so I learned along the way to set my business up, have the right website with the right opt-in box and autoresponder emails, and have the right email newsletters, and build my list strategies that bring people to me, right? And what to do every week, blogging, videos, this, and all the activities you need to do. And I learned how to put them in place and delegate as much as humanly possible to a team. And I don't pay a whole lot for my team, mind you. You can still do a lot of that without, thousands of dollars every month going out. And I set the business up. Thank God I did that, because in 2013 I had to have 2 total hip replacement surgeries for my hips. I was like 42 years old, and they're telling me my hips are shot, I need hip replacements. Not just a little surgery, it's a major surgery.
Wow.
And I had 2 of them in 1 year. I was out, I thought, I'll be out for a couple weeks and I'll get on my laptop on my recliner and just do work. And no, I was not. I was on painkillers. There was no working. So I had to rely on telling my assistants on what to do and getting the stuff out. The first surgery was harder, the second one was easier, and I had pre-planned more for the second one, mind you, with pre-recordings of this and that, right? And so I was more prepared. But then last year my fiance got cancer at 45.
Oh,
and so we had to go to radiation and chemo every single day for 6 to 7 weeks. Half the day, if not all of it, was shot. So if that happened to you, either one of those instances happened to you, would you be making money during the time, right? Most people, no, they wouldn't be, because they're required to, they're the ones that are going to make the money. They have to be there doing the business, or they're doing the marketing, or they're doing the coaching calls, or whatever it is. And I had things in place, and I was making money. I had recurring clients. I had annual mastermind programs. I have business models in place that are making me money every month without having to do anything but maybe talk to somebody every now and again, or do a group call. And I'm telling you, that was such a relief to have that stuff in place. And I see 95% of entrepreneurs I see don't have half the stuff they need in place. And what if something happens and you're not set up? You are in the poorhouse because you have no money coming in. That's my soapbox right now, because it's like, it's so important. And if you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what to set up, you need to get help with that, because you aren't, if you are techie, great, you'll know a few things, but if that means if you're techie, then you're probably not doing a lot of the offline things, right? If you're offline savvy but not online savvy, then you're probably not doing a lot of the online things. And frankly, you need both. I don't care if you're just a local business or if you're a global business, or where your clients are, it doesn't matter. You need to be doing both. And you can set it up, a lot of it, in systems and automation, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It just takes a little time.
Yeah, those are some great points, embracing both the online and offline and creating the system. So what are some of the systems that you recommend for entrepreneurs to have in their business?
Well, you must have a really professional website with an opt-in box. You just have to. I don't care if you're a roofing company, or you're a spa salon, or you're a wedding planner, or you're a coach, or an author, or a massage therapist. You need to be able to collect names and information online, okay? You can do it offline too, but you need to be able to do that. There's relationship marketing I do on social media is really key. I mean, one of the biggest strategies we use right now for online marketing is using social media, my messaging system. And you can pre-write your templates of what you want to say, and you can literally delegate it to an assistant to do 50 messages a day, 250 people a week, and 1,000 people a month. And that's new people that you can connect with in a non-salesy, non-threatening way to build relationships and see where it goes from there. And that's just one marketing strategy out of like 20. but that's a system. There's follow-up systems. I was a huge networker in my business when I started it, and I didn't realize I had a kick-ass follow-up system until everybody kept wondering, telling me had my business card in every room of their house, because I would always follow up via mail, phone, email, and social media now. So most people are just not doing enough of that because they don't know what to say, what to send, when to send it, how to send it. And you just need to know how and what to do, and then you can actually delegate a lot of that. Okay, so the lead generation, marketing, follow-up, and sales processes, how do you take someone through a sales process, right? Do you have them go sign up online to talk to you before, or do you just pick up the phone and have a conversation and then waste a bunch of time with the wrong people? So we got to have the right processes in place to funnel the right people in, to continue educating and talking to them and interacting with them, and then how to close. We got to have the closing systems too. So those are the main ones. Yeah.
Absolutely. And do you recommend one automation tool over the other?
When I talk about systems, it's the strategy and the process. It's not necessarily the tool, okay, or a software. Usually people need a shopping cart, okay, on their website if they're selling stuff online, and even a one-on-one consultation is selling stuff, or an ebook or whatever. And even web designers need one. They can take a deposit, okay? So there's all kinds of reasons to have that kind of a software, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. There's some that cost a lot more money. You don't necessarily need those. Other tools, you need an email marketing program. I still see a couple people in my inbox, messaging me on their Outlook, and I'm like, to a bunch of people, right? And we're all in the to field, and it just drives me crazy because I have to message them back and say, you're spamming and blah blah blah, and this is why, and here, watch this video, and that drives me crazy. You need that, but other than that, there's not a lot of expensive tools that you need. It's the strategy and the process and what to do and what to say, and then understanding what to do, and then actually making sure you do it. So it's the accountability.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. The accountability is critical. Anything else that you can think of that people would need to know as far as creating systems, or actually that, and giving us a client transformational story, where they were before and what systems helped them in their business?
Right. I forgot the first question. I was going to answer the second.
Oh, yeah. Just any other thing that you could think of, kind of need to know in order to people to automate their business.
If you have 5 hours, I can tell you all the things you need to know. I do a 3-day. Well, I do a 3-day live event that's just about that. It's about all these systems and getting the right things in place. But I have a client who a couple years ago went through my annual mastermind program, and she already had 2 businesses. She was already doing 6 figures, but she had no time to see her 3 kids, and her marriage was failing. Okay, and so we had to see if it was the right marriage, and if it was, then we went back. She came to my event, and she went back with an ultimatum to the husband, and they actually were able to work it out because they just weren't communicating their needs correctly. So we fixed that, and then we really worked on the business of systematizing all her stuff that she was doing and automating better online, better follow-up. She would go to lots of events, but she didn't have the right systems for keeping in touch with all those connections she made. And so by the end of the year, we'd figured out that she'd saved about 8 hours a week. 8 hours a week for a really busy mom and entrepreneur is huge. Now, this client went and started another business, which I don't recommend when we do that, but now she's super successful. She's dropped one of the other ones, and she's restructured, and she's really doing well because she's really leveraging her team more now. But it's fabulous to see when people actually put the stuff in place that needs to be there. And frankly, most of my clients don't move that swiftly, because they've either got a lot of head trash in their head, or they have financial roadblocks that they can't do certain things, and we have to move slower. But I want to move as fast as we possibly can, and we can. So
I love that, Katrina. This has been so powerful, not just from the strategies that you've given us, but the story. I mean, your story is incredible, and you really are a great example for women entrepreneurs. So before we leave, is there one book for you that has really transformed your life? Because I know you said part of it, and this is so true, you got to work on yourself to grow your business.
Well, I have to say my own book, and
Yes.
only because it's the only book I ever read, honestly. I wrote it a couple years ago, and then I didn't look at it for a year because you just don't want to look at your own book once you
Yes.
write it. It's just like, get away from me. And then, and now that I take it to conferences and I'm on the plane at least once a month, and I always have them because I sell them in the airports and stuff. And so every once in a while I pull it out and I open it up and I'm like, oh, that's a good chapter, and I'll read a chapter on the plane. I'm like, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And so I just read my book over and over and over again, and it's honestly,
I love it. I love it. It's shameless self-promotion and self-devotion.
but it is what I need because we write what
Exactly.
we teach what we need the most, and
It's
so
so
what
true.
I wrote is what I need. I can't help it, and I don't read a lot of other stuff. I fall asleep reading books. I don't honestly. I'd rather listen to a speaker and go to a conference. I learn better in that kind of environment.
Absolutely. And what is the name of the book? So,
Love yourself, successful.
okay, great. And we'll make sure we put a link down here on the video page. Well, Katrina, this has been inspiring. I know all the viewers that are watching this, they are getting fired up and they're learning, through your story and, of course, saying, yeah, I need to get automation. I need to get my stuff together. So thank you so much for being my guest today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone else that is watching today. You're a woman on fire. You're inspired by Katrina and all my other guests. And if you found this to be inspiring, you found this to really change your business and your life, please hashtag WOFE. That stands for Woman on Fire Entrepreneur. So you've got your homework. I want you to go to it. And until next time, this is Heather Picken. Take care.